Hello and welcome to another episode of Divina's Recipes for Life. Today we are going to prepare Amritsari Aloo Kulcha, which is one of those rustic recipes which just leaves you asking for more. I know because I've just tried it and fallen in love with it. We generally love naan. Whenever we go to an Indian restaurant, we'll order naan and we'll ask for it to be topped generously with butter. This is a glorified naan with special potato filling. It became famous on the streets of Amritsar, and this recipe that I'm showing you right now is not really the traditional way of doing it, but it is an easy and practical way to do it at home. Now, originally, kulchas are cooked in a tandoor or a special clay oven, and since we don't have that, we'll cook ours on a skillet. Now, for best results, you can char yours on an open flame. This one is best eaten with Amritsari chole. That recipe is available. I'll put a link up in the description. But first we're going to get on to making our kulchas. Now the kulcha dough is usually made with this all-purpose flour or maida as they call it in Hindi. And that's just to preserve its softness. If you want to go for a more nutritious kind, you can do a 1:2 ratio of whole wheat flour to maida. That is for every 250 grams of all-purpose flour, you'll be adding in 125 grams of whole wheat flour. So I'm just going to go in with the all-purpose flour, about 375 grams or 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, and to that I'll be adding less than half a teaspoon of baking powder, around 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and salt to taste. Next, we will be adding in around half a teaspoon of sugar, and you're going to mix that with clean hands. Very important. Next, you're going to add in about 1/4 cup or so of Greek or thick yogurt. That's about 60 ml. And you're going to knead that until it becomes crumbly and sticky. Next, you're going to rub in some ghee. I have about 1 to 2 tablespoons of that. And I'm going to knead that until it becomes nice and crumbly again, like breadcrumb. Now to that I will be adding in about less than half a cup, about 90 or 100 ml of warm milk. And I'm going to knead that into a soft dough. So that should take around 10 to 12 minutes. It's best done on an open surface, but you can even do it in your bowl. I did it in my bowl and it came out pretty good. The main thing is do not overwork your dough and don't be tempted to add in more flour. It's supposed to be sticky at the beginning. It'll only come together once you knead that for a longer time, about 10 to 12 minutes as I said. You could use your dough hook or your electric mixer, or you could use your KitchenAid, basically the dough hook attachment, and that should help you. But I like to use my hand because it's a bit more therapeutic, and then you can gauge the feel of the dough. The dough should look something like this. So you can brush some ghee or oil on it and then put a damp cloth on it. And then cover it with a damp cloth and rest it for about 20 to 30 minutes. Or you can refrigerate it as well for about 1 or 2 days, but I think it's better fresh. After that, you're going to prepare your stuffing. And for that, we'll need 1 teaspoon of carom seeds, which is ajwain, and half a teaspoon of cumin seeds, which is jeera. To that, we'll be adding half a teaspoon of coriander seeds. You're going to roast all that, and then you're going to grind that into a powder. Once that's done, you've got a potato, 1 potato, and you're going to add salt to it and then mash it coarsely, not fine at all. And then we're going to add in about half an onion and half teaspoon of ginger chopped. And then we're going to also add in about 1 green chili. Next, you're going to add in your powder that you just prepared, and to that you'll be adding 1/4 teaspoon of black salt and 1/4 teaspoon of red chili powder. Salt to taste and a pinch of dried mango powder, which is amchur, and then you're going to mix everything well as I've shown you here. This is our stuffing, and now I'm going to show you how to roll the dough. This is again not a traditional method. Normally with the traditional method they will roll the dough like once, add butter, make multiple folds so that you get good layers. I'm showing you an easier way, which is what I do for parathas. So I'm going to take a portion of my dough, make a ball and flatten it and then roll it out. Once that is done, I'll put butter on that and then pleat it into layers like we would do for paratha as shown here. And then you're going to coil it same way as you do for paratha up to this stage, rolling and flattening out the dough. Next, you're going to stuff it and then close it up and then roll it gently. You're going to brush your flattened disc with butter and then you're going to coil it like a paratha as shown here. Just take it from the corner and keep on pleating it as if you're making a fan-shaped design. See how I'm doing the folds? Now you're going to roll it out again, and then once you're done with that, you're going to take a portion of your stuffing and place it on the center of the rolled out dough. Next, you're going to close everything up from all the corners. Next, you're going to stuff it and then close it up and then roll it gently until you get the shape that you're happy with. Some people like it round, some people like it slightly oblong like a naan. I made it sort of in between, but more importantly is how you cook it. And I'm going to heat up my skillet to do that. I'm going to cook it on one side. I put some butter already on the skillet. Now usually to cook it, people would have not a non-stick skillet. They would use a normal cast iron skillet in which you can flip the pan and then cook it on an open flame. But what I did was I used a normal skillet and it should work. So what you can do is stick your dough on, stick your kulcha on that, and then flip it once it's done. And keep on repeating the process until you get a nice golden brown and crisp kulcha. Now for best results, you can char that on an open flame. Once you're done, you can clap the layers. What you can do is take one side on one hand and the other side on the other hand and clap it together. This one is best eaten with Amritsari chole, or you can use any other vegetable curry that you like.